Hello, church. Welcome back to Be Bold, Be Humble, Believe. Hope that you're having a great week and a great day. We've been talking about biblical doctrines, convictions, preferences, and today we'll talk about standards. And I'm hoping that you understand all those definitions of all of these words and how we use them and how they affect our lives and so greatly. So how we also, if you're in charge of something and knowing the boundaries of where you can and where you cannot demand of people, and and so the first one here, or the definition here of standard is a boundary that I set up to help me live my conviction. So this is rules that I put over my life to help me understand I'm near or how far I am away from my conviction. This is more like a fence at the top of the cliff, kind of farther away from the cliff, so that, or the guardrail at the top of a road, so that we don't go over, so we understand where we're at. So here's the example that I have here, and examples: my wife and daughters will have long hair. My boys and I will have short hair. My wife will not go out in pants, and my boys won't go out in skirts or dresses. And I want to have that as the guardrail, far away from the edge as I can. And um, in when those things start to fail or those things start to fall away, that becomes the indicators, the flashing lights, the moment where I turn and I'm like, wait a minute, the standard is not being kept, it's not being held. Just like in a battle, when we're advancing, the standard is the flag, and we're advancing. Now all of a sudden the standard is going back. Now we're losing. Wait a minute, we're not keeping up with the standard. It's getting too far, if it's not up in front of us. There's a problem, and so understand where we need to be, and that's what it is. The of course the barriers. So if you've ever seen the movie Jurassic Park. Um, the One of my favorite characters, Dr. Malcolm, was extremely critical of the barriers that were set up to keep away, the T-Rex. And turns out he was exactly right. As they ran from the T-Rex, uh, but that is how most often that we see weak standards. That's how a pastor might see weak standards, or parents will see standards and they're like, those are really weak. There's no consequence when you don't adhere to the standard. And we fail because we have low standards. But who sets those standards up? We set those standards up. And so when we write our own rules and we go against them, well, who's to blame? And so, but you must. Here's my first point today: is set your standard far away from the world. I would rather have, and I use this all the time, but I'd rather have a fence on the top of the cliff than an ambulance at the bottom. And when, listen, parents, when you allow your children to um, be alone with the opposite sex, and they're teenagers, they obviously like each other. What's the standard? Okay, where are you, what are you allowing, what are you not allowing? You must adhere to the standard. um, for myself, for a preacher, he has the standard of, I'm not going to counsel a lady by herself. I'm going to have my wife. My wife will be there with me, and that's non-negotiable. That's not something that can change. It's the same thing for me. And if suddenly there's changes like that, where I notice, well, preacher's counseling with that lady, but that's, by herself. But I thought that he didn't. There's flashing lights that go off. Do you understand that? And for myself too, if he were to notice, well, he's meeting with that young lady, and by there, that's something that we've agreed not to do. That's a standard we set up. There's some warning lights going on. Do you understand? I hope that you understand this. We must have and adhere to those standards away from the world. We're not going to have the same standards as the world. We shouldn't. They should be much better. They must be much stronger. There's a huge difference between going to, say, Badger State Christian School here and going to Oak Creek High, because Badger State's going to have what? Higher standards. They're going to have higher standards. Um, this, of course, academically, but also there's more standards when it comes to behavior, and and you can tell the difference in classrooms in different schools by those standards. And so this is the thing here. Okay, some young people have not set their standards as high as their parents or school did after having it imposed on them for years. Your parents have to keep reminding you. This is what happens. Your parents keep reminding you, or your leaders notice your standards are not what they used to be, and they see those alarms going off. Now you're stuck because you used to do right and you used to have high standards. But also, you don't want to be judged every time you go to church or around those people. Maybe you even want to serve the Lord, but you don't want to give up or want to up your standards. And that's why we become a feeder church. That's why we become a church that, well, the people that want to serve here, because we have high standards, they don't want to up their standards, so they go to a church that has what? Lower standards. And then, oh, well, maybe I can serve over there. And but we're keeping high standards. We're not going to compromise with that. We become these feeder churches for a compromised church, or a low standard church. And then they look back and they blame who? The judgy people at that Baptist church, right? And when nobody judges you at the new church, because why? They have low standards. Um, but the rest of everybody at your old church or at your high standard church, people are looking back and they're like, man, I wish we had that person. I miss that person. Um, don't Nobody was really judging you. It was your own standards that you used to adhere to, that now you've dropped your standards, and your own standard. You're hearing the sirens going off in your own life, and you need to go somewhere where that's okay. And that's what happens when we start lowering our standards. So people believe, or you believe, that people are judging you, but they are not. It's actually your own conviction that is going off, and so it's your standard that you are going against. Remember, the Holy Ghost brings conviction to you. The truth is this, and let me go back to what I started off saying last time, or a few weeks ago now. The truth is, you go to one of those other churches with low standards, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at, what are their standards set at? I'm okay with their low standards. And you don't stop and look at their Bible doctrine. And down the road, you find out, oh, they believe that there's they have many different translations of the Bible, and they go with that. Or, oh, they believe that you can lose your salvation. And you find out what? You find out kind of late. And now your kids are growing up in that. And, oh, well, hey, they have the same standards as you, but their Bible doctrine is wrong. And we're making the standards and preferences the main thing. When what's the main thing? Doctrine's the main thing. Bible doctrine's the main thing. Stop going to these churches because they have low standards. Go to the right church that has the right Bible doctrine. And when you get there, we do that, maybe you can lift your standards up. I don't know why, go to the gym. Why? So you can get weaker? No, so you can get stronger. You can get higher standards. You can get better and closer to God. So that's my last point. Don't make the standard the main thing. Bible doctrine is the main thing. I don't care if you have the same preferences as me, and I don't care if you don't have the same, but I do care. Sorry, I do care if you don't have the same doctrine as me. You see, you can tell me, I think that, well, I can have long hair on a guy is past the ears, that's fine. You know what? That's great. I don't, I'm not going to have a big argument with you unless you want to sit down. We can talk about it. But if you don't believe that Jesus is the Son of God or that creation is not real, we're going to have words. We're going to have to talk about that. Or you can lose your salvation, or there's only an elect people that are saved. We're going to have a problem because that's the main thing. And the problem is the church is overlooking the main thing. Stop overlooking the main thing. Stop looking at the standards and basing your church on, I'm going to go to church over here because, well, they just look more like what I want to look like, or they listen to this over here. You're lowering your standards and not looking at the truth of the Bible and the doctrine that they have. Logically, that doesn't add up. But listen, I can deal with it. But I cannot deal with it if you tell me Jesus is not the Son of God. We'll have to talk about that. We have to sit down and talk about that. Bible doctrine is the main thing. After that, based on service and what you want to do, convictions, standards, and preferences, all should be based on Bible, real Bible. You shouldn't just be pulling them out of the air, but you should be basing all of that on real Bible. Listen, I hope that helps you, but always make the Bible doctrine the main thing. Stop pretending that, oh, well, it's okay. Listen, your kids are going to go to that church and they're going to learn. They're going to see. Number one, they're going to have lower standards because that's what the church, whatever church that is, that's what they have. But they're going to get the wrong Bible doctrine. That's the problem. I don't want my kids growing. Whatever. I want my kids growing up with the right doctrine, not some watered down. We're not going to talk about sin. We're not going to preach on hell, and we're going to pretend that that's not even in the Bible, and we're gonna have. No, listen. I want truth. Give me truth. I don't want somebody who's going to come and lie to me. Listen, I'm a sinner, and I want to hear about it. And I want to be convicted. I want truth. I want the Holy Ghost. But no, throw all that out. Why? Because, well, I want to be able to dress the way I want to dress. Bible doctrine's the main thing. Stop playing around. God bless you, folks. I hope I challenged you this week. But we're going to be moving on to other things soon. Looking forward to a couple of interviews that we're doing, bringing in some other people. But God bless you. Have a great week.